Bitcoin to 1 million in 2025, Eric Trump says, and I'm going to show you why I believe XRP and Bitcoin will be number 1 and number 2. Now, here's the key. This channel is not about get rich quick. This is about discipline, consistency done for a long enough period of time to access that new paradigm. Here's the thing. If you are not mentally, physically, and spiritually prepared for what's about to happen over the next 90 days, you will get wrecked in this asset class. If you're trying to get rich quick and you've never experienced wealth and you don't have a foundation, what goes up will come down very, very hard. Here's what I believe is going to happen, and I'll show you historical patterns because that's the only way we can measure this. We can look at history to predict the future. Everybody's guessing and trying to figure out what's going to happen. But if we look backwards, we can see patterns, and everything operates in a cycle. Now, your job is to make sure that your emotions don't look like the stock market. We take the middle ground by building a system, being disciplined, being consistent, and feeding that system. And when everybody's celebrating, you should be selling. And when everybody's panicking, you should be buying the things that you understand. It's that simple. It's just a wave of energy. So I'm going to show you today how Eric Trump thinks that Bitcoin's going to go to 1 million by the end of 2025 and how NBA players behind the scenes are texting about XRP. I've been trying to tell you guys since 2020. The game has always been the same. So study Ray Dalio's Changing World Order, Robert Kiyosaki, Cash Flow Quadrant, The Richest Man in Babylon, and the Wisdom of King Solomon. On the back end of every video, I'm sharing with you my Capital DR strategy: cash flow, appreciation, protection, leverage, and de-risk, de-risk, de-risk. Because what goes up comes down, boom, just like that. And if you get rich quick, you're going to lose it for sure. So let's dive right in. So the first thing I want to show you is Eric Trump saying that Bitcoin is going to go 1 million by the end of 2025. Now, one thing that I do know, I don't bank on price predictions. I think it's fantastic. You know, some people are saying it's going to go to 2,500. There's actually bets out there, and I am 100% okay with that happening. I will be happy as a pig in shit if that happens, right? But I don't do my investment strategies based on that. I do it based on patterns. I do it based on a system. I do it based on diversification. And I do it based on long-term horizons. When the wave goes up, we pull money, we put it into protection. When it goes down, we leverage, beat the hurdle rate, beat inflation, and get back into assets that are going to appreciate. It's that simple. Okay. So we're going to listen to this first, and then we're going to go through the facts, figures, numbers, logic. And I'm going to show you tomorrow. What is Jim Cramer saying now? He's showing the national debt saying buy crypto. It's like, come on, man.
And the future is incredible. The future is bright. The future is incredible. And I think fourth quarter of this year is going to be unbelievable for a host of reasons. So super excited.
How do you think Bitcoin's going to go?
I've always said that I think in time, Bitcoin surpasses $1 million. I think with quantitative easing that we're going to have starting tomorrow when the announcement's made, and all signs point in the right direction, unless this guy's really off his rocker, but then he's going to just get laughed out of this country. But you know, I think starting tomorrow, you're going to see right drops. You see what's happening with M2, which is, you know, the money supply around the world, which is skyrocketing right now. Fourth quarter has always historically been, you know, the best quarter, or, you know, generally the best quarter for cryptocurrencies. And
okay, so I heard that. He said in time, I believe it'll go to 1 million. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. I believe 180,000 by the end of this year. That's what I believe for Bitcoin. I believe XRP anywhere from $5 to $10, and 100% okay with being wrong. 100% okay with being wrong. So Eric Trump told the New York Post that stablecoins like his family's USD1 could preserve the US dollar's global dominance. I shared with you the game. Russia also confirmed what we've been saying. They're doing the stablecoin game. Bo Hines stepped down. He went over to Tether, brought USTAT, which is now a America-based Tether stablecoin. Okay. What do stablecoins use? They use short-term Treasuries, okay? The bond market is destroyed in America. The 60-40 doesn't work anymore, guys. Bonds are not a hedge anymore. You have to beat inflation. I'll explain that on the back end of the video. Okay, so USD1 is the fastest growing stablecoin, which is connected to World Liberty Financial, which is their financial DeFi platform. You got Tether being brought into America now. We have RLUSD. We have the whole transformation of the financial system. We have the Clarity Act coming in. So your system is radically transforming. Digital Asset Investor posted this. Check this out. This is according to NBA star Tristan Thompson. NBA players are in the text groups asking if they should buy more XRP. And I know this for a fact. And I won't say some of my private clients. They are in very high level. Other industries, professionals are big into XRP. Okay. I know this for a fact. This is not hype. There's a lot of stars deep in XRP.
Teammates have started noticing this. They ask questions now, and guys are like, like, do I get more XRP? Do I buy more ETH? So like, literally, guys are texting me, and then like in the group chat saying like, yo, it's pumping. They go check. I'm like, hold it, long term, guys. Think long. The same way you bet on yourself to get to the NBA, you got to bet on these coins and bet on the space. Bet on what the future of digital finance is. Bet on that's what's gonna be our kids. That's the form of it. They're not going to be walking into these banks and these institutions. They're going to be literally having their wallets and being on a computer and literally managing their finance like this.
Boom. I couldn't explain it any better myself. Fidelity, largest 401k holder in the world. This is their website, guys. This is the reality. One destination, many crypto possibilities. Buy crypto directly. Invest in crypto funds. Save for retirement through crypto IRAs. All right, so this is the back end of the year. I'd love to hear comments down below. Just as Ab said, historically, it's called Uptober. So here's what the charts look like. So historically, the back end of a bull run. So you have the Bitcoin halving, which was 2024. I think it was second quarter 2024. Usually 15 to 18 months after. It's just a cycle, guys. Just like winter, just like spring, just like summer. You're not going to change the way cycles work. They're bigger sometimes, they're lower sometimes. I feel this one's going to be parabolic. That's how I feel. Okay, so the normal cycle is usually after the Bitcoin halving, about 15 to 18 months after. Okay, October. Okay, so we're heading into October, November, December. So this shows you the cycles over the past, God, how many years is that? 10 years. Okay. And Bitcoin's been the best performing asset over the past 10 years, has beat every single asset class. But look at the traditional back end of the year here. Okay. So 2024 gone up. Okay, where's the 2022? Where was it at? 2023. Okay, there's a bull run right there. Look at that, 28%. So we're starting to see the back end of the years here is usually up. So where do you think it's going to go? I'd love to hear your opinion down below. I think we're going to see a really beautiful October. I remember Thanksgiving, was it 2022? I think it was around Thanksgiving 2022. It's usually, yeah, was that 2022 or 2021? So we were having an altcoin season like crazy. So remember, Bitcoin goes up, then it bleeds into altcoin. So we should see a beautiful October, November. So we know October, the ETFs for XRP should be getting approved. I would always expect a delay. Everybody banks so much on these dates. I don't bank on any dates or these types of things because it usually doesn't work out that way. It's usually delays, but that'd be fantastic. I'll talk about that tomorrow, all the XRP ETFs that are waiting for approval. Okay. And so a lot of people ask about my strategy and how I work it. First of all, I organize all my crypto on Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto. This is the safest way to track your crypto and to see it on a daily basis. You have all your assets in one place. I'm the co-founder and creator of this, and you can actually create exit targets. Check this out. This is how we calmly exit the markets. Okay, you click on your exit target. You get it all organized here. You can build out your own exit strategy. You've got like we have 50-50. This is a sample. Okay, it gives you exactly at what percentage, what price, how many tokens to pull. You put in, you physically put in your whatever you're going tax rate. This dummy account here, demo account, has 25% tax rate. So it shows the estimated taxes, right? You save that plan. It gets stored for you. You're like, well, how do I set up a profit taking plan? Boom. We got your back. So the biggest thing you'll learn in here is education. We're going to teach you how to set up an exit plan, or we call it a profit taking plan. And if you need support, you go right here, boom. If you get stuck after watching the videos, we can help you physically. We have physical customer service. So this actually shows you all your exchanges in one place, all your assets in one place, and it's not connected to your exchanges. So if somebody hacks your Merlin, if you're on a funky Wi-Fi or something while you're traveling, Nobody can steal your crypto. It's just an interface. Okay. It's just communication. It is not actually holding your crypto. So looking at the markets right now, we got Bitcoin dominance at 58%. Bitcoin's at 113,000. Oh, nice. It jumped quite a bit. So it looks like we're going up a little bit. So we should see a nice October, a beautiful November, December. But remember, what goes up will come back down. So here's how my strategy worked. It's called CAPL DR, cash flow into appreciating assets, protection, cash value life insurance, and leverage. So let me explain. And then DR, de-risk, de-risk, de-risk. Okay. I do not believe in just sitting in an asset class and watching it go up and go down. Remember, if somebody is having you hold on to something and storing it somewhere, they are making profit off of it. Okay. Everything's about hurdle rate. That's how everything works. So I'm into using my own money, moving my own currency. And I love the decentralized nature of cryptocurrency here in the future. Okay. So I use insurance to be my own bank. I use Bitcoin to be my own bank. Okay. Anytime you're putting your stuff into something and locking it up, remember, how are they doing that? How are they giving you interest? It's a hurdle rate. So just be aware of that. I like to move my money myself. Let me explain exactly how I do this. Okay. I'm not saying that I won't use DeFi and lock things up, but let me explain. Okay. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. Your number one job is to beat inflation. We had a cumulative 24% inflation from 2020 to 2024. Okay. So if you didn't beat 24% inflation in your stocks, in your investments, then you did not grow your assets. If you were just in cash, you became 24% less in your purchasing power. So if you have $1 million in your bank account, it shows $1 million. That's the trick. It is not worth $1 million. $1 million today at 3% inflation over 26 years, the same buying power, you would need $2.1 million. It's just math, guys. Take the emotion out of it. Okay. That's why I'm not emotional about any of these assets. It's just math. Okay. If you had $1 million at 3% in 26 years, the same buying power, you need $2.1 million. Okay. So if you're retiring in 26 years and you have $1 million, you would need 2.1 million. So if you're not growing that much in your pay raise, or you don't have assets that are beating inflation, you're becoming poor every single year. That's why the wealth gap is becoming massive. Look at the wealth gap from 1971 when we detached from the gold standard to today. It's massive. Okay. But the income of the top 1% has grown dramatically. Okay. It's not that things are getting more expensive. It's that your dollar is becoming worth less. Okay. So that's the first lesson. So if your dollar is becoming worth less, then you need to transmute your dollar into something becomes worth something. So A is cash flow. I create cash flow. I created cash flowing businesses and I use cash generating dividends. Okay. So when I get paid, I transmute some of my cash into dividends that pay me, stocks that pay me dividends every single month. Now I'm going into today, I just started investing ones that pay me weekly. So now it's weekly and monthly I'm getting paid. Okay. Some of them are bi-monthly, and then now I'll have a weekly pay coming in. Okay. So I got money coming in from my businesses. So you'd have money coming in from your job. I have money coming in from my dividends. So I have two places from my businesses and dividends. So cash comes in, I transmute it into appreciating assets that have fixed supply. I'm not saying you have to do this, but here's an example. I use XRP and Bitcoin. They have fixed supplies. Bitcoin is one of the most scarce assets in the world. XRP has a fixed supply. It actually has utility, and it's grown 800% since 2020 to 2024 when Trump got elected. Okay, in my portfolio, my Bitcoin's grown 200%, and my overall crypto portfolio has grown over 300%. So as you lost 24% purchasing power in your cash, I grew my overall portfolio over here, my cash, by 300% overall, 200% in Bitcoin, and 800% in XRP. Okay. So now we're going to go into huge profit in the next couple months. So what I do is I hold Bitcoin forever. We're going to pop Bitcoin in the leverage category. Okay. Let's just put it over there. Altcoins, all their coins to include my XRP. I'm actually pulling 50% on the way up. If it hits the targets, I use exit strategies. Boom, boom, boom. I pull it off into safety, protection. Nobody can touch it. Lawsuits, nothing. So I have 30% of my wealth insured. Well, why would I do that? Well, it's a supercharged savings, just like my Bitcoin growing 50% every single year. And I can leverage. So I turned $1 that you're sitting on and watching going up and down. I pull profits and I can turn it into 2, richest man in Babylon. So now when the bear market hits, Now we have leverage, leverage, leverage. Most people leverage to make themselves poor. They buy a car at 72-month auto loan, $60,000, and they make $70,000 a year. They borrow against their future self without increasing their income, and they get crushed because they're not beating inflation. The car is deflating. So they bought a liability that deflates in value, and they extend it against their future selves. So you're using leverage. I'm just using leverage to do what? I use leverage to beat the hurdle rate. So if I borrow at 5% for my policy, this is where things get magical for me. If I borrow at 5% for my policy and I buy Bitcoin that grows 50% every single year, what did I beat the hurdle rate by? 45%. So I took $1 out of crypto. Okay. I put 50 cents in here, right? Then I can borrow that 50 cents and buy 50 cents in Bitcoin that grows 50% every year. I'm still compounding my cash over here, and I'm crushing the hurdle rate over here. You can use gold, you can use silver. That's the richest man in Babylon. Most people, American, are borrowing to make themselves poorer. I'm borrowing to buy cash flow to become richer. So when I want something, what I do is I put it into a dividend that pays me a company, and they pay for the things that I want. That's how you become wealthy. Okay. Now I'm very transparent is we became rich by building this ecosystem. Rich and wealthy are completely different. Wealthy is the next 5 years where your money is just making money nonstop. And then my grandkids, kids will be wealthy. Okay. Now, the most important part about this is we are completely in the middle ground. I don't care if the market's up. I don't care if it's down. I follow a disciplined, structured plan. Nobody's going to FUD me in. Nobody's going to FUD me out. I dollar cost average every day into Bitcoin and XRP. I buy Solana every single month. Now I'm buying WLFI every single week. Today I'll get paid dividends from one of my companies, and I take 10% of my income outside of debts and non-negotiables after bills are paid, and I buy 10% cash generating stocks that pay me cash flow. If there's money on the sidelines, then I buy more XRP, more Bitcoin, more WFI. Okay, my top 6 are XRP, Bitcoin, Solana, XLM, WFI, HBAR, and VChain. I keep it simple. Okay, that's it. There's no magic to this. I'm not trying to, I actually am consolidating big time. And, inside my community, I share with people, I'm going to be selling out of my small caps. I'll be consolidating into XRP, Bitcoin, Solana, WFI, and you don't need 1,000 different cryptos. These people that are teaching you to put 100 here and 1,000 there, it doesn't work, guys. It does not work. And most people promoting these cryptos are getting paid to promote those cryptos. We can rightfully say with very, very much honor that we've never, ever, ever been paid by a cryptocurrency company to promote a crypto token. Ever. We've denied, said no, nope, never. Never, because I knew that honor was the biggest thing in this. Okay. My portfolio is my portfolio. I just speak from truth and what I'm doing. Okay. Capital DR, cash flow, appreciating assets. When those appreciate, I put money into protection for my family, legacy, and leverage. Oh, and I forgot about the whole Bitcoin part. We use Bitcoin on the digital asset side for leverage. Okay. Now you're starting to see it on Coinbase now, guys. You can, and I'm not saying you should. The biggest thing is if you don't understand how to I only leverage to buy cash flow that'll pay the debt back or something that'll appreciate to beat the hurdle rate. You got to understand hurdle rates. Okay. Your 2 jobs are to beat inflation and to beat the hurdle rate. Okay. For example, if I borrow at 5% from the insurance policy, okay, the first hurdle is 5%. The asset that I invest in has to beat the 5%. If it's not going to beat the 5%, there's no reason for me to take the loan, in my opinion. Okay. Then I have inflation. So if inflation is 3%, okay, which it's way over that, but let's just take some easy numbers. So if it's 5 plus 3, because that means my dollar is going to deflate by 3%. Okay. I want to make sure that I beat it by 8%. That's a rule that I put in place. So I have a 5% hurdle rate that I stack on the 3%, and then I go put it into Bitcoin that grows 50%. Well, yeah, I'm crushing the hurdle rate. That's why it made sense for us to borrow against our Bitcoin. We took low leverage. Here's my rule. I only use 25% of my overall digital assets because it's volatile. I'll never go over 25%. Okay. So we borrowed at 14. They gave us tax-free money. Okay. I took it. I bought the firm. It'll be paid off this next month. Okay, now that 25. So why did we borrow at 14? Because we're growing 50%. Oh, you know, on average, we're gonna grow our money by 36%, and basically we bought a free firm because we got paid to take a loan. Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. But we had the income to pay that off. Now I can borrow now at 9% fixed in Strike. Right now on Coinbase, it bounces up and down. There's this variable, be careful. It's 7% right now on Coinbase. So what I'll do is once that 25% is available again, I'm going to borrow again. Boom, I'm going to buy more cash generating dividends, and I'll let the dividends pay it off. That's how I do it, family. So hopefully that helps. That's my exact ecosystem. If you need any support at all, just let us know. Remember, I will never proactively DM you about your crypto. We do not invest crypto. We do not have a way to report scammers now. So if anybody's asking you to send them crypto or trying to get you to invest in cryptos or a trading platform, those are all scammers. Okay. We do not invest people's. We have education platforms. Okay. Merlin is not an investment. It is a crypto tracker. Okay. So anybody DMing you, trying to start a conversation with you, those are scammers. We actually hired a whole team to include AI that works 24 hours a day now, tracking these down. So it's unbelievable how many scammers are out there. So just keep yourself safe. You know, share with anybody. If you're communicating with anybody and you think it's me, it's not me. We have an education platform, the 3T Warrior Academy, where we do not invest people's crypto. You'll see, you'll understand. We don't send your crypto to anybody. I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, Warriors, let's get your shit together. Let's go.